And we're live! I'm so excited. Are you excited to continue reading Once Upon a Need? I'm so in love with this book. So yeah. All right. Let's just get some quick introductions in. Jeff should be joining us any minute now as well, I believe. And just until the first few people are coming in, I'm just quickly going to repeat what going to be read the Once Upon an Eat. We are hosting the Ally-a-Thon, and this is the group book. We're going to be reading it together. We have set times when we just each sit down, read the story, and then we're going to come back and chat about the story that we just read. So far, so this is the third live show, and so far this has been one of the best experiences for me ever, just being able to read and immediately talk about the story, and just the you see what the person said in this line, and these stories just got so much more meaning for me, and it's so amazing and it's so much fun, and I'm loving this experience, and I do hope that you all love this experience too. Now, why don't we just do very quick introductions? I believe that everybody who comes and watches this does know who we are, but let's just do it anyways. Mo, do you want to start?
Hey everyone, I'm Mo. I'm also just want to echo those thoughts. I loving what's going on. I love being able to point to the line and say, actually, I didn't get this bit. What do you guys think? Or this was my favorite line. And also just loving that everybody's loving what I'm loving. So yeah, I'm super excited about today's sprint. And these stories and these illustrations just look awesome. So I just want to get into it.
Hey everyone, I'm Steph from Steph's Bookish World, and same as my other co-hosts, I'm just absolutely loving the experience getting to read. I'm really liking the discussion that we're all having in the chat. So please, we really appreciate you guys participating in the chat, because we get to learn. I know last live show, we did a lot of learning. I know Mo even did some learning, which is nice to see as well. So if you guys have anything to add, please, we would love to have you in the chat as well. So.
Hi, I'm Jeff from Dreaded and Redded. Everything. These stories are so cute. I love them. I love reading them with y'all. And yeah, I'm just excited to get to it.
I know Mo is especially excited today because we're starting with the graphic novel part. Yep. This is going to be really interesting because laying out the time for how long we're going to read which story was really tough with this one. I have no idea how quickly we're all going to be done and how much time we're going to have left. But we're going to try. We're going to do our best. Let's see who's here. There's a few people who are here. Hi, Anna. It's great to see you. Very loyal. Always great to see you. So how's everyone feeling today?
I'm feeling excited. So I'm, like you said, I'm excited because of the graphic novel. I wasn't going to read ahead, but it did cross my mind. But I thought I want to read it with everyone, and I want to kind of get my reaction as well on camera. And I'm just interested to kind of read it together. I didn't want to read it and then know what's going to happen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Kind of like in the story that we just read about not spoiling your gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Like it's funny because I'm most excited to get Mo's reaction to the graphic novel. Because Mo, you said you don't really read graphic novels, right?
Yeah, I've never really I've seen graphic novels in libraries and things, and I've just never. They look good, like the pictures look good, but I haven't really felt the urge to pick it up and read it. And the graphic novels that I've seen in bookshops are mostly mangas. and I'm not sure if that's for me or not. I think it's something that I do want to explore, but I'm not 100% sure if it's gonna be for me. So yeah, I really don't know what I'm gonna think.
Like, I'm literally crossing my fingers that this is a good reading experience for you, because if it's a negative experience for you, then I hope that it doesn't like taint you going forward, because graphic novels are they're fun, and they're a really good like palate cleanser. If you have just read something that's like 900 pages long or something, it's just a good like transition book into your next read. So fingers crossed that you like it.
Honestly, there's so many different genres for it out there. Like any type of book that you like, you can get as a graphic novel. And one thing that I could recommend for you, if you want to get into graphic novels, I don't know if you are aware of Sister Sci-Fi. It's a Black-owned online bookstore run by a wonderful person, and she has a graphic novel book club where we read a graphic novel each month that is uplifting Black voices. It's about Black female characters even. We have read Nubia, Real One. We have read After the Rain, and we have read what is it? The Sacrifice. I don't remember the full title, but I have like for two of them I have a short video in my series, and I think that all of these have not only been really good, but also the discussion. In two of these discussions, we were able to chat with the author and or illustrator about some of the some of the work process, some of the behind the scenes, and I think that this could be an experience that really gives you like a very, very good introduction to not just like pew pew manga action for little boys kind of comics, but really good solid stories and some back information. So yeah, maybe check that out. That could be for you.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I just have a migraine, so I'm kind of like a little mellow, but I'm okay. I'm excited for the graphic novel because I'm not a graphic novel person either. But we will see. These pictures are cute. So,
well, I hope that you're feeling better soon, but migraines are okay. Yeah, Perfect Simplicity loves Mo's accent. Is somebody crushing on Mo there?
Nah, I think it's just if you're not from the UK, then yeah.
Accents can be really cute. So, hi, Jocelyn. That is here as well. Just made it. We just went through how everybody's doing. I just mentioned I was doing a live show, like normal reading sprints on Bookclubs Mel's channel around noon, and since then I wanted to read all day, but I literally had so many courses, so many things to complete that I didn't. So I feel good that I have everything done, but I'm also tired, and that really sucks because I really want to read. I really need to get this one. I have been rushing on this book really hard. I'm like 3 chapters in, but this is so much fun. I'm so impressed how somebody can take really, really hard and heavy topics and make them fun and uplifting and interesting and like laugh out loud reading while talking about really heavy topics. Like, how are you doing this? I'm like impressed. Yeah. So,
what's that about, CC? I don't think I knew what that was about.
It's about people from different countries coming to the US as immigrants with a Muslim background, and it is 2 families from Pakistan and Iraq in 1990 coming to San Francisco. And yeah, Muslim immigrants trying to find a way in modern America. It's just so the first 30 pages, full of analysis, the amazing pictures. I went out and wanted to write down a quote pretty much every single page, which is something that I usually don't do. And then let me just see. So we have a couple of minutes before the first one starts. So I'm just going to show you how this person talks about stuff in this funny voice for some reason. So we have a lot of like history setting where we're at, and then this young boy talks about the first time anyone ever touched my balls, so far as I can remember, was at the behest of the United States government. It turns out that one does not simply get on an airplane and start a new life in America. It's much more complicated than that. You have to go to a doctor who makes you take off your pants, cups your testicles in a cold chemical hand, and asks you to cup. Then you get to go on a plane and start a new life in America. This is pretty much like the voice that I've been hearing like throughout. It's just 3 chapters. I don't know if it changes, but it's a very snarky, funny character, and who takes these very serious topics and tells them in a way that I just need to laugh. Thrifty Simplicity says, sorry to hear that, assuming that's about the migraine. Maybe some Java might help with that.
You might have a point there. I'll see. I don't know. I don't think I've been drinking enough water, so might be it.
Go drink some water, and then that's something people underestimate, how water can like lack of water can cause headache. How do you pronounce that?
I've heard it on BookTube so much. I can picture the cover, but I never know how to say it.
I don't know what that book is.
I'm pretty enjoying it. I figured I'd like it, but it has to continue to surprise me. How is it surprising you? So you expected to like it, but it's surprising you. Why is that? Talk about it. So let's pull up the cover so that people see the cover. It's really cute. It's this one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So imagine an America very similar to our own. It's with homework, best friends, and pistachio ice cream. There are some differences. This America been shaped dramatically by the magic, monstrous knowledge and legends of its people, those indigenous and those not. Okay. It has really good ratings. So
yeah, I've heard it talked about on a couple of people's channels, and I think it's getting like mixed reviews. I think it's like the writing style that like people sometimes don't vibe with it. I can't remember exactly, but I have heard about it.
Okay. Hi, Ron. Looking forward to hearing about what you read today. I think Book Nerd Memes was, during the past couple of times, did not read the group book with us, but was taking part in the discussion, which I loved as well. Didn't you say that you needed to start or get the book on Friday? Or am I mixing that up with somebody else? Based on all the discussions, somebody said, I think I need to get the book, and I think it was you. Am I mixing that up? If it was you, did you get it? Did you start listening to it on script, or share with us?
I know, Book Nerd, you were reading A Mile Unbound. I think you just started it. So have you finished it, or how far along are you with it, and what are your thoughts so far on that as well? Because I'm really that's one of my favorite books, so I'm interested to know.
You better like it, because Mo does.
As long as you like the cover, that's fine.
It is one of the best covers. Why do middle grade books get all the amazing covers? Or are we just all in a chill? Like, is it in a children coming out when we see middle grade book covers?
Yeah, they're so colorful and like vibrant. They're just so nice.
I've never read anything with a Native American main character or talk about their culture. I also wasn't expecting so very much supernatural elements, which are also different from what previously I've read. Ooh, that sounds really interesting. I get that. And I get how that can you surprise you if you have like elements that you haven't been into. Now, I do believe that it's time to get into the graphic novel part. I can see Mo smiling from here. So let me pull up the timing. So we have 10 minutes to read the graphic novel, which I believe is way more than we need.
Yeah.
So I'll see you back in 10 minutes. Happy reading. And we're back. I'm quite excited to hear what you are thinking.
It was super quick, super cute. I actually am listening to the audiobook as well. So that was the first time I actually listened to like an audio while reading a graphic novel. So that was an experience. The narrator actually like made a donkey voice, which was hilarious. Like it literally was so funny. And I'm obsessed that the donkey's name is Pickles. Like I loved that. Like I was smiling the whole time that I listened that his name was Pickles. So
Same. I love that his name's Pickles. I thought it was way too short. I would have loved to have read like more of this. It was just way too short for me because I was like really enjoying it. I was trying to take my time with it a little bit as well and like try and absorb it. And I like that on the second page, the third picture, when the man is like, oh, unless something changes, we're not going to see the moon. And then the colors of the picture invert. So she got the donkey and the girl go to white. I love that how that kind of portrays the shock, and they're like, what? No eat. So I love that. Yeah, I really liked it. I didn't understand the bit about the hot air balloon though. Because they were like, oh yeah, there's loads of lanterns and things in the air, and then she's just jumping onto a hot air balloon because there's just an empty hot air balloon in the sky for some reason. I didn't quite get that bit, but yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, but it was they tried to put a little bit of a lesson in there as well, which I like, but it was just too short. Yeah, I would have loved it if it was longer.
What's the lesson?
When they were saying like not all things are supposed to be easy, and yeah, that's the lesson that I got from it. And I like how first she's saying it to the donkey when she's like, oh, it was cold and dark when the prophet went to pray, and then on the next spread the donkey's saying to her, you were the one that said not all things are easy. So it's kind of like they're reminding each other about it.
And I think, sorry, my AC's on, y'all. It's so hot. Like, I'm dying. But also, I think the other lesson of like, sometimes you need to separate yourself and just like find some alone time, because in the beginning they couldn't see the moon because there were too many lights, right? And then it was once they finally like went in the hot air balloon and took some time for themselves and reminded themselves of the promises that Allah made to them, that they, you know, like could settle and see the moon, and then that's how they were able to bring Eid back. But I don't know if I'm thinking too deeply into it, but that's just what I thought.
I don't think you are thinking too deeply. And thank you for sharing that, because honestly, when I finished it, it felt me wanting a lot more. It just wasn't as satisfying and full as the other stories that we've read so far, and I felt like I didn't get it, and especially the last page. So the whole thing, like suddenly there's like a hot air balloon that they go up in. I was like, okay, and then they see the moon, and because the moon's there, it is Eid after all. Because if they wouldn't be able to see the moon, there would be no Eid, which I don't understand in the first place. But then they take a lantern, they take the light, which light? From the moon? And bring it down? Like, what is happening here? I don't understand it.
So I think the lantern bit, I didn't quite get that bit, so I had to reread it. But I think they were like, quick, get the lantern, like light up the bit where the moon is so that everybody on the ground can see the moon.
There's too many lights, and they add another light to see it. when there was too many lights in the first place. It's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I too was confused. It was a cute story, but I will tell you, I was like, okay, but the donkey's name is Pickles, so it's all right.
I love.
I was a little bit lost. I'll tell you that.
That's a good point. Let's see what everybody else thought. Hi, Helen. Finally made it to the live. Just quickly listening to what I missed today. Cool, good. Was a blessed olive tree a good read? I don't think I would recommend it. I think that if you are, we're talking about this book here, and I think that if you are a Muslim and you want to rekindle some thoughts, it might be good, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's good to understand principles of Islam. I mean, it will still teach you potentially some basics and some thoughts, but I feel like the writing style is not good. It's kind of imagine the writing style being like, he was greedy, then he was sad, then he remembered to remember God, then he was happy. It's kind of a very like I don't know. It doesn't feel fluid. It just feels a lot like stories I was told as a kid, like fables that I was told as a kid in like Sunday school. Very broken down, very plump. Not it's not a fluid storytelling sound. A lot of imagery that needs to be explained. There's a few really good ones, but I do think that there's so little good ones compared to the blah or even bad ones that I wouldn't recommend it if you're not a Muslim and want to rekindle or get some deeper thoughts or just take some time to think about certain aspects. I don't know, Mo, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I agree. I agree about the rekindling bit. But I think if you're not a Muslim and you want to understand the religion, it's probably not. It's probably a good book. It shouldn't be the only book that you read if you're wanting to understand the religion. But there were a couple of stories that were really good. Like there's one about this orange tree that I thought had some really good, amazing analogies and comparisons that were made. Otherwise, there weren't that many. It was okay, but it wasn't amazing. And it's not a storybook. It's because it's a spiritual book. And it's something that I'm not kind of comfortable reading anyway.
I was ready for spiritual stories that make me think and that will make me reflect. But these are in a way that they do not let me think or reflect. They're more in a way they're telling me this is how you should be and this is the only way. And some of the analogies are just a little bit weird. But yeah, there were like 2-3 stories that are really good out of 20. I haven't read them all yet, but yeah, I think there's better books to understand and get more about Islam. Finished reading Amal Bound, moved super quickly, and I wanted more from the story, but maybe this is because it's middle grade.
Yeah. It is a middle grade. It does move. I don't think it moves that quickly. Yeah, I mean, if it was a young adult, then it probably would have gone a bit deeper. But yeah, I mean, it's middle grade, so you kind of have to take it with a little pinch of salt. Cool.
Is there an idea of how many sprints you're looking to do? So I'm just going to pull it up again because today we're hijacking my Sunday evening sprints for the Ally-a-Thon. We're pretty much reading these stories together. So we're doing these 4 sprints at these exact times. I'm just going to remove your comments so you can see the full picture. That is the plan. Honestly, when we're done after that, I might be open to do a sprint or more with our like normal books if anybody feels the need or want for that. I have the day off tomorrow, and I seriously need to get some reading done. So I'd be open to that, but that is not something that we have planned or discussed or whatever. So let me know what you think about that. Helen also wanted more. It was too short. Yep. It's like a journey back to the simple and important roots out of all the distraction. Yeah, I got that. Very, very well put, like one sentence. Very well explained. Thank you, Anna. Started reading Other Words for Home. Another one that Mo enjoyed, which seems to be written in a more poetic style, so is also quite fast-paced.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a very fast-paced one. Steph, have you got to it yet?
No, it's going to be my next audiobook. So I just finished, what did I just finish? Internment. I just finished Internment. I loved it. So good. So good. Yeah, if you guys have that on your list, prioritize it because it's so good. Like, destroyed me, obviously, but
yes.
Really good. So yeah, that's going to be my next audiobook that I pick up.
Awesome. Looking forward to Internment even more now. I have high hopes already. I had high hopes before, so I love that the high hopes seem to be confirmed.
Yeah.
And the Islamic calendar is based on the lunar rotation. If you see the new moon, it means the month of Ramadan is finished and the next day is Eid. If you don't, you still have to fast another day. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is why they need to see.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've just put a resource on the Notion as well about moon spotting. So it basically takes 29.5 days for the moon to do like a full rotation, and the months are based on the moon, but obviously you can't have 29.5 days in a month. So you either have 29 days or 30 days. And on the 29th day of each month, each Islamic calendar month, you're kind of, well, in the olden days, they used to go out at sunset looking for the moon. And if you can see the crescent of the moon on the 29th, then that month has got 29 days. And if you can't see it, then it's got 30 days.
I love that. Thank you for explaining that. Thank you, Najat, for bringing that up. And that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Maybe the light is a symbol for a child's view on Eid. All the grown-ups know that the point is, and that it's about the journey, and all the child wants is Eid. And during the journey, the child, let's skip to the next one, understands the importance of the journey and is enlightened. And the Eid itself is less of an importance, so it's okay if another light is added. That's very interesting, Anna. I kind of see your theory. Also, that actually brings me back to one of the stories in here, where in Noor, where the lantern is a symbol for God, for faith, and the person in this one, and when your soul, the flame, the spark meets with the divine fuel that is so pure and so strong, it results in immense enlightenment. The enlightenment of God. So maybe it's like it has something to do with like the faith with the God. I don't know. That's a very interesting point, Anna. Gotcha. I'm just going to use the sprints for finishing the book I'm reading. You are very welcome to do that. I love that you're joining us and listening to us. I love that you all are reading the same book, though. Super cool. Yeah, it's the best concept. It's so much fun to just discuss what we just read. If you still want to get to that, I hope we're not spoiling too much. But on the other hand, it's probably really fun that if you get to the book at a later stage, that you can still pull up the live shows and then get into the discussions.
And what book are you reading as well? Let us know.
Good question. Helen is reading Amina's voice for one prompt and wants for another. I also started reading Two Sisters. Also today, I read the first of the resources you recommended. Well done, Helen. Doing everything. And you did not explain it bad at all. This comic felt more like a cute reminder rather than a lesson story. Yes, that's what I felt as well. Yeah, totally. I just grabbed the graphic novels that I have. One that I can also recommend is this one. I don't know if you've heard about this. It's by George Takei, who played who played in Star Trek. Captain Zulu. Captain Zulu. What is it? Zulu officer? I don't remember. Why am I so weird right now that I don't remember? It's like. Anyways, so he actually grew up in the U.S. and lived through the internment phase where that Japanese Americans were put in these like internment camps, which is still something that is not very present in history and discussed in history. And this graphic novel is just pretty much a memoir, like autobiographical memoir of his experience going through that, being shipped into these camps and what they went through. It's quite simple, I would say, but it really makes a point, and it's just really, really good to. It's a history lesson, but it's done really beautifully. So I can really recommend that one. And then the other two that I recently read that I can recommend are these two. This one is more like superhero. I don't know if you are familiar with the world. This is with the DC world. This is, I think, Wonder Woman's like sister. And After the Rain is more of like a horror one. And this one is like one of the most beautiful ones I've ever seen. They actually, what I really enjoy a lot about this is that a lot of the pages, they have like these very organic windows. It's not like with other comics. So yeah, but then really dark as well. So
I really like the fact that it almost looks like those pages, there's like a background and then they post the things on the background. Because a lot of the times it's just like a plain background, but it almost looks like the background in that kind of correlates to what's going on in the story. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. And it was really great to chat with the creator of this, with the author, about the intention behind it and everything. And then there's a shift to the later stage where you have the traditional, which is very, very intentional. It's really good. I'm not into horror, but it's very well done. So these are some of the graphic novels that I can recommend. When are we reading the next one? In 2 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Oh, excited to get into the next one. Just having a hard time figuring out what prompts I want the books and resources for, and how I can get the cover of the books or the Ally-a-Thon background on Instagram. If you don't know Canva, try Canva. I think that most people use that tool to mesh up graphics. It's canva.com. If you want something light to dip your toe into graphic novels, Miss Marvel was cute. I think I read the first volume on Amazon Prime. That's a good recommendation as well. Isn't that also Muslim representation? I think that this was did come up in the book recommendations for like Muslim authors or character. I don't know. I'm reading The Girl in the Spider's Web by David Legakrantz. It's a very interesting name. How do you like it? Hi. Don't worry about being late. Good you're here.
You're just in time for the next sprint.
Exactly. What are you reading, the honor? Because I believe that you're not participating in the Ally-a-Thon, so I'm interested in hearing what you're reading. All right, so the next one is Searching for Blue by N.H. Sensei. Just looking up the author. Has anyone blah, blah. I am not okay today. Has anyone read anything else by this author so far?
No, I've not heard of this author.
No.
Award-winning books that focus on the immigrant and refugee experience, including Shooting Kabul and Escape from Aleppo. I recommend Escape from Aleppo today because it's a book that has the number 5 in the page count.
Nice.
Saying, just saying. All right, let's put up the graphic on the screen. I'm going to see y'all back at 10 past the hour. Happy reading. And that's time. So Jeff did have to leave. She wasn't feeling well at all, and I get it. I mean, honestly, with a migraine, I'm surprised that she got up and came in the first place, because migraines and this is does not seem to match in my mind. So I hope she's feeling better soon. So what did you think of this one?
I like this one. I think this was the first story in the book that was like quite sad. I don't know what you guys think, but I got it was a little bit difficult for me to get into at the start. I don't know why though. I can't really put my finger on why it was difficult for me to get into. So I'm wondering if anybody felt the same. And also, I'm trying to understand the title, Searching for Blue. Does it mean like you're searching for something? I don't know. I feel like I've missed the point. I've missed something in this story somewhere. So I'm hoping to be enlightened. But I thought there were some really good points in here. I loved the quote. I can't remember if it was in the first bit or at the end they come back and say it again anyway, where the dad saying, always look beyond what your eyes are telling you. I love that. But yeah, even more interested to know what everybody else thought, because I feel like I've missed something deep here.
Steph, what do you think?
I really liked this one. I think this is one of my favorites. It's definitely in the top for sure. Some points that I made just on my little sticky note here. So I loved the very beginning. So Mo, you said it was a little hard to get into. I was I was instantly hooked based on the analogy of the color blue right at the beginning. So that really, I really loved that. He was saying that many ancient cultures didn't have a word for the color blue, and then he kind of explained why they didn't. And I thought that was so, I loved that, because you really do think about it when you're walking in a nice forest or something. Blue is not something that you see a lot of greens, you see a lot of browns, and then colors are not, or flowers are not usually typically blue. So that was very interesting right from the beginning. I think this was the first story for me that didn't read as a middle grade. It almost read a little bit more mature, to be honest, because I found myself having to kind of go back and be like, wait, I kind of missed that. Whereas middle grades, I can pretty well do anything and it's just in the background, but you kind of understand the point. This one I had to be wait a minute, there's some deep conversations going on here. So I think that it didn't read as a middle grade. They had some really good points about Ramadan and the history of Ramadan as well, which I liked. Another thing that I really liked is they had a good representation in here for Dina's character having a stutter, which you don't get to read about a lot, which I really, really liked as well.
Oh yeah, and it wasn't here we have somebody with a disability. Yay, I have rep. There you go. I'm showing. It just was there.
Yeah, exactly, which was really nice.
Really good.
And then my last little point here is right at the end. So page 157, the quote. I really, really liked the quote, which I think is kind of the reasoning behind the blue thing. In my eyes, at least, it's always look beyond what your eyes initially recognize and discover what is real, what is possible, and what is the truth. I remember earlier in the story, they were talking about how people would be the sky is blue, but it's actually, if you look at it when the sun is setting or whatever, it's actually, you see tones of oranges and stuff like that. So it's always look kind of beyond what your eyes are initially see. So I think that this was one of my favorite stories for sure. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, no, I feel very much the same. I think that potentially getting into it in the beginning was a little bit more of a piece of work that you had to do in your mind, because it came with more analogies, with more images. The language was a little bit more flowery than the other stories, but I loved how it was written. And um, yeah, the way that the color scheme went through like the whole story. So in my mind, we started in the beginning questioning the color blue and talking about the absence of the color blue, and that the sky is and the water is actually colorless, so to speak. And at this point in the story, we're also in a very hopeless situation. We're in a situation where people are losing their faith, where people are saying, "Why should we even pray? God has left us. What has praying brought us in the past?" Very depressed, pretty much, about like how can we even make something work? It's Eid, and we don't even have anything to celebrate with.
Yeah.
And then he tries, like our main character tries everything to just bring some joy, bring something to it. And at the end, they have a festival with people pitching in that they haven't expected to come in to support. They have they suddenly have some outlook for the future. I love also that it is like, don't get too excited too quickly, but it's a start. And then in the end, the very last sentence, after the sentence that you both pointed out, perhaps God hadn't forgotten them after all. Hope filled Bassam's heart, and his eyes refocused, his sight suddenly flooded by the sky, a shimmering azure streaked with cobalt and hints of navy blue and ultramarine. So in this moment where Bassam realized that God hadn't forgotten them, all the colors of blue are suddenly like there. So I think that the color blue is the representation of hope, faith, God, outlook into the future, joy, and all of that. So there's your meaning, Mo.
Yeah, I love that. I completely missed that bit where searching for blue, and then the last couple of sentences are like, it's all blue. All different ways of all different shades of blue. I missed that completely.
Yeah,
I'm reading in a completely different way.
I had a story, I think, during Friday sprints where I completely did not read the last 2-3 sentences. So I think that sometimes maybe it's just a habit that we have, that we feel like, okay, it's done now.
Yeah.
You read the lion cursive, and in your head you're like, okay, I'm done. And you don't read the last sentences. This also made me a little emotional. I really felt this story. Also, one thing that I really wanted to mention is that I am in love with the overall representation in this book. This is so much more diverse than pretty much any other book that I've read. We have all the locations, all the different backgrounds. Now we have a disability rep. We have like everybody is in this book, what it feels like. And I love that so much.
Yeah,
it does have because it's short stories. It has the opportunity to do that. So I'm glad that they did take like full advantage of that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Awesome.
So the Hunter is reading a 3-in-1 called Ice Rigger by Alan Dean Foster. It's sci-fi and visiting old friends.
Nice.
What's a 3-in-1?
Let's look up.
Hi, Drew, by the way. Thanks for coming.
I'm assuming 3-in-1 potentially might be something like
it might be like you know how sometimes with the Inheritance trilogy they like added all 3 into like one.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe, but don't quote me on that.
That would make sense.
Yeah, that's what I would.
That would be massive.
Yeah, it's huge. The Inheritance trilogy one
is one.
The paperback is massive. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, The Icebreaker is a trilogy, so that's what I'm.
Oh, then it's probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hi. Hope you're all caught up. Anna loved this writing. Maybe I cried. Maybe. I have 8 minutes left. We'll use them to check the author out. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's wonderful writing. I really like this one too. I started to get emotional, but I didn't cry. Good for you. So the book that did The Girl in the Spider's Web is the 4th book in the Millennium series, and it starts off slowly, but it's getting good. I'm glad that it's getting good. Hope you have a wonderful reading time. I like the color theory part. My friends and I have been talking about this a lot in the last months. The fact that some languages don't even have blue. I didn't even know that. But others have multiple words for shades. Yeah, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either, but like that was the thing that just caught me. I love like little bits of information like that. It just makes me enjoy the reading experience so much more. I knew this was going to be like one of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, agreed. I really like this one. It is a topic that sadly is very present, and it had many lessons to teach. I agree with this one too. I agree, especially the part about how tourists and other people turn a blind eye or pretending they don't exist. That part really hit me. Yes. And I think that also when we get so bombarded with images in the media that you start to kind of not feel anymore because you need to protect yourself. So these images, like really horrible images, have become such a present and normal thing, which is really horrible. It's a cycle of 3 books. So yeah, it's like a chronicle. It's like a trilogy.
Cool.
Finished this book earlier today because I knew I couldn't make the whole live show, but just wanted to say hi.
Hey.
Hi. Well, you're welcome to stay and talk about the short stories then, and maybe read something else. Glad you joined and said hi. I read it 30 years ago for the first time, and since then I read it again for 10 times now.
Wow.
The book doesn't change, but the reader. Very true. Very true. You must really love this book. I don't think there's anything that I have read 10 times. Do you have any like, do you have a book like this that you read over and over?
No. And I think all of our TBRs are like so long, even if we wanted to.
I don't think I've ever, there's only one book series that I've ever reread. And other than that, I don't think I've ever reread a book.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not usually the rereading type either. I have started rereading the Wheel of Time because well, guess what? I love the series, but also I felt like after finishing the 4th book, going back to the first one and just rereading because I felt like I have missed so many parts. And by the 4th book, I felt like now I understand the world. I don't need, like, you know, when with fantasy books in the beginning, it takes all your energy to understand the world.
Yeah.
And you miss on so many things because you don't understand it yet. So I felt, because it's such an epic 14-book series, I didn't want to have missed all these little bits that were kind of the foundation that the rest of the series builds on. So I went and said, okay, let's reread the first one. And it was such an amazing experience because I'm like, I didn't even know that happened at all because I was so busy on trying to understand the world, and now it's such an easy read. I struggled when I read it for the first time, and now it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I had part of it kind of muted to finish up the story, but it was beautiful. I thought the depth of the themes of hope was more powerful in this short story.
Yeah.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. They're friends, really, the books, yes. I think if you have read them 10 times, they're friends. Now I want to know what they're about, Icebreaker. Because if you have read them 10 times, they must be good. So Ethan Fortune was a simple salesman, knowledgeable and civilized, a sophisticated traveler between many worlds. But he had certainly never thought of himself as a hero. Squaw September, on the other hand, never thought of himself as anything else. A matched pair, if ever there was one. When the two of them were suddenly stranded on a deadly frozen world, Ethan Fortune incredibly found himself cast in the role of a leader. And he didn't find that at all amusing. Okay, you need to tell us what you like about this book so much that you have to read it 10 times, because it sounds interesting, but I have a feeling there's more to it, that you love it that much. Share your passion. Yes, like they said, I think we get so much information and pictures, videos, that many of us now feel we cannot help, and that is not good. I wish media could help us all come together. That's a very good point. Yeah, we get a little bit too saturated, and I mean, I also don't really condemn it, because I kind of feel like you need to be a little bit like that to protect yourself. Otherwise, how do you still live your life? And you need to live your life to be able to help others, right? It's like, it's really tough to find the balance between doing what's good and what's right and helping, and not turning a blind eye. Is that an appropriate term to use still? Sorry, I've been looking so much into like inclusive language, and I know that tone deaf is not something that we are supposed to use anymore. So turning a blind eye, I'm assuming, is not okay either. I'm in the learning process, so forgive me. But yeah, that's my thoughts. They're space travelers, and they meet medieval land folks. That actually sounds hilarious.
That sounds really good, actually.
I mean, honestly, all the description in the book on Goodreads does not give me that vibe, but that vibe sounds hilarious. I know people start to disassociate themselves from all the things they see. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when everything that you're seeing in the media is so negative all the time, right? Like a lot of people have a hard time with that. So just disassociating themselves is kind of like their coping mechanism. Yeah, it gets overwhelming. That's right.
Yeah, I know there's this Instagram with like good news. What is it called? There's like an Instagram account that focuses on the positive and just puts out good news constantly. I'll have to look it up, but it was really, really good idea. So pretty much just having messages every single day that are just positive news and positive stories, which I find is like we need more of today.
Yeah.
I was recently told that the term Eskimo is not okay. Once I looked it up and thought about it, I totally understood and agreed. Okay, that's something that I need to look up then as well.
Yeah. Unless, Jocelyn, you want to give us a little Cole's notes quickly, and then we can look it up.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really thought about it much, but is it like we're using indigenous instead of other names for? We don't even say Native Americans anymore, do we? It's just indigenous now.
In Canada, at least, indigenous is the most proper term.
Yeah. I think it's generally the most proper term. One interesting thing as well is, so I kept using and I kept hearing the word minority representation at work. And I was told that we don't use the word minority. We use the word underrepresented, because oftentimes when we're talking about minorities, they're actually not the minority in places. Sometimes anymore, but like for example, talking about Black people in certain American cities, they're actually the majority, but they're still underrepresented. So I found that really interesting as well. So much learning. I thought it was an actual group, but it was a term that white man gave as a general term. That makes sense.
I thought it was an actual group as well. So that's quite. I'm gonna have to look that up properly.
Thank you for that spark of like that thought and yeah. We're so serious now after the story.
Yeah.
Like oh
Well, it's time to get into the next one. So hopefully this one puts a smile on all of our faces.
I thought we still had 5 minutes and was like, oh.
I think it's 4:30.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 4:30.
I completely missed 5 minutes in the schedule, so we end the discussion at 4:30, but we start the reading at 4:35.
Whatever you want to do. We can either cut the reading 5 minutes or the discussion 5 minutes.
I feel like everyone's ready to read the next one, right?
Yeah.
I'll put it up, and should we stick to the original end time for the reading, though? So if anyone joins, it's still the right time to end the reading at 55.
Yeah.
All right. Then let's do that. Happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
ready to come back. So, what do you think?
I think this is the first one where I really didn't like one of the characters. I didn't like Amira one bit. She's just annoying.
Really?
Yeah, Amira, she was just like mentioned that, oh, it's already in your shopping cart, why don't you just buy it? And you know, I don't know how old she's supposed to be, how old they're supposed to be in this, but still. But then there were other bits that I did like calling their car Big Sis because they've had it for so long. I love that. And there was also, actually, I want to talk about this bit on page 165 towards the end, where she's like, their parents are trying to make their transition to Islam fun and exciting, but it was a lot to take in, like the spicy food, the different culture, etc., etc. But just because you've converted to Islam doesn't mean you need to eat spicy food, or and you can still like have your own culture and practice the religion. So I didn't really like that bit. And it came up a couple of times. But other than that, I liked the story.
I love that we have some representation for people converting as well.
Mm.
The representation keeps coming.
Add it to the list.
And I think from what I've heard that there's some really deep more representation coming in one of the upcoming stories, in like a video promoting this book. So yeah, what did you think, Steph?
So yeah, a lot of the points that we already talked about, I have written down. It's funny, I actually wrote down Big Sis as the car name, just because I feel like everyone names their car, and that one was just funny. So like, I thought that was super fun and relatable. I wrote down transition to Islam as like, I think it's really good and important to read about stories like this, because I just wish that we would have gotten a little bit more about the transition part of it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly. What Anna
Anna said it. Yeah.
Yeah. I do wish. I agree with Mo. I didn't like Amira at all, and I hated that Michaela had to feel, which it happens all the time, and you hear about it all the time, like she had to feel like less of a person because she couldn't afford certain things. Like when they were in that shop buying like secondhand things, Amira walks in like, oh, my parents like make me donate to this shop all the time, and like blah blah blah, just making her feel bad. So that kind of stood out to me as well. And then just like the whole thing with her having to like lie about being able to afford a dress. It's always like sad to read about stuff like that when you come from like not too much money. But I think that the lesson was there in terms of like the mom then ended up making the outfit, and it ended up turning out better. And then Amira and her ways was like, yeah, I actually want you to make me a dress like that. So it wrapped up nice, but it's always sad to like read about stuff like that.
Who told her that she has to lie about not being able to afford it? It's like,
I don't think anyone actually told her.
Yeah.
That's kind of it. My point. It's like it's hard to see the beauty in things when you can't see past your insecurities is one of the lines that really stood out to me. And I think that and this is why I also like the character of Amira. I wish that we would have gotten a little bit more into it. I don't think that Amira is mean. I think that Amira doesn't know better. And because our main character doesn't share, how is Amira supposed to know that she's hurting her with these things, because growing up, you just assume that everybody lives like you in a way,
Yeah.
you know? And she was like, "Oh, take the $50 gift card. I mean, I'm gonna give you that. It's just $50." She doesn't know how much that means. She doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
So, for me, there's also the lesson in there that I don't think that Amira is mean, but we're not giving her a chance to learn by not showing her. And she's going to have her own insecurities, which comes very, very clearly across when she's like, "Oh, I don't need charity. Like, you making me the dress cannot be considered charity because I don't need charity." And I think there's a turning point where where there's a lesson that charity is not necessarily just because or for people that are of worse, that have bad luck in life or that can't afford stuff, but charity can be something that you do for somebody because they don't have a certain skill set, or just out of the kindness of your heart, no matter if they need it or not. And I think there's a lot of layers in there as well about that. So I did like Amira. I'm not sure if I would like Amira as a friend right now, but I like the character Amira, and I can see where there's a lot of character development that could be coming next. So if this would be like a full book, I could see Amira developing beautifully.
Yeah, I agree. Those are really good points. Yeah, I agree. I think if it was a full book, she would definitely have. I think that conversation would be able to be had between the characters, and then she would kind of realize. I agree with that as well.
Jonathan says that the story reminded her so much of her mom.
Oh,
that's so nice.
That is nice.
Another solid addition to the collection. I'm really loving this book. Same.
Yeah.
Reminds me, I had one question. So her mother scolded her, saying, "I raised you better than that." And I didn't know. So all that Michaela did is she dropped the bag, right? The bag with the plates and bowls slipped out of her hand and they crash. And then pretty much it's like, what exactly is the mother scolding her for? As I have raised you better than that.
I think the mum heard the conversation, or was there when the conversation was happening on that page, when Amira's like, "Oh, are you here for the Sadaqah too?" And
It doesn't say anything. So
yeah, when Amira's saying, "Oh, our parents make us give away some of our stuff to the needy too," and basically Michaela doesn't answer. She couldn't speak. Michaela's pleading eyes met her mother's. So instead of, I think maybe the mum wanted Michaela to speak up and say something, whereas Michaela had to kind of get her mum to intervene. And that's when Mrs. Jackson was like, "Michaela, why don't you and your brother go relax in the car for a few?" So kind of like rescued her. And then she comes back and she's like, "Oh, I raised you better than that." I mean, that's what I took from it.
I mean, the mom rescues her. But I still don't get like her saying, "I raised you better than that." It was that quiet, hurt tone that Michaela couldn't understand. She hated when her mother was disappointed in her. Why was it? I mean, it feels like the mother was dramatically disappointed in something, and I don't get the drama that the mom is causing here.
I don't understand it either, because it almost seems like it's from the bag being like it's like a mistake, right? And then for her, it's not even that she's angry. It's like She hated when her mother was disappointed in her. The ride home was extra long and extra quiet. Yeah, that was strange to me as well. I'm curious to see what people in the comments think.
The one was a lot more middle grade than the last one. Agreed. We already touched on that one. The point of view was definitely limited to only Michaela, which says a lot about her experience. Yep, very true, very true. I did like Amira's response to Mrs. Jackson's comment. Is that about I don't need charity or what? Which comment, like what response are you referring to? I took it as more of Michaela felt embarrassed as a preteen. Yeah. There was no development to Amira's character. It was a plain mean girl. I understand it's a short story only, but I still would have liked a little bit more.
I think that was the point of her in this story, to be antagonizing.
Yeah, and I mean I agree that there was no development, but I could smell the development. It's like because she didn't feel mean because she was mean. She felt mean because she didn't know any better. But I agree, it wasn't. You do mistakes till someone tells you. Yeah. You sometimes just have to be called out and have to have things explained. I think the mom was disappointed that Michaela was embarrassed by their circumstances.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I just think that the author could have made that point a little
bit more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're probably right. I think the mother understood that her daughter was embarrassed and that she couldn't stand for who she really is. Yeah. People in the comments coming to the rescue once again.
Yeah.
I experienced similar situations and had similar feelings when I was young. I knew my parents couldn't afford things, so I would wait until the last minute to say anything. Aw. I'm sorry. My mom came through a few times, like the mom in the story.
Aww.
I love
Moms
that.
are the best. Moms are honestly just the best for things like that.
Yeah, they know. They just know. And maybe that's why I like Amira, because I feel like I have been an Amira at times in the past where I was ignorant because I didn't know any better and I just assumed that people had the same privileges that I did. And I would be like, why don't you just do that? It's like, where I didn't know that a lot of the things that I had available to me were a privilege. I found that a bit funny as a reader, like mom was standing up for her daughter. I don't think it was about the plates. I think it was about wanting to avoid the girls and not wanting them to know what the situation. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm gonna go have a quick dinner. What are you having? Food. Oh, did y'all come prepared for this live? Because once again, we don't have fancy brownie stories, but I promise I come prepared with even better brownies, right? Look at this.
Wow. Those are like loaded brownies.
Oh my goodness.
Double chocolate, and this is with peanut butter, chocolate. Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting on a plane and coming to see you right now.
I mean, I can only eat maybe like this much because they're so
rich.
Rich.
Like, yes. Really rich.
Wow.
But they look delicious and they are amazing. They're from like a local bakery here that just does the most amazing food. And yeah, I went to the city just to get them. There's actually a brownie store right next to it, and I was like, which one am I getting? I'm getting these, and then I was like, I think these look better. They look more like decadent. The others look really good too, but they don't look as decadent. So I said, I need to get the decadent ones.
Yeah, those look amazing.
I need those brownies. Yes, they're really good. They're really delicious. I didn't even have a bed when I was younger. I had a mattress on the floor, so yeah, I get the embarrassment, but at the same time, that's nothing to be embarrassed for. Right, it's not. I mean, I had a while where I didn't have a bed, but I thought that was cool. You know, I wanted it that way. And my mom was like, "Ooh, but you need to have because airflow." And I was like, "No, I want the mattress on the ground." So if I would have come into your home and would have seen you just have a mattress, I would like, "Oh, you're so cool." My mom doesn't let me have that, and I would probably that would have been like the meanest thing to say to you, where you can't have one.
Yeah.
Mm.
Smell-o-vision.
I wish that was a thing. Like,
No, can we have taste-o-vision instead?
Yeah, yeah, they don't smell that strongly. They're super tasty. Yeah. You're gonna visit me at one point, and then we're going to go eat brownies.
I can't
Can't
wait.
wait. What do you pull out then? How do you even find something better than that?
Challenge accepted.
Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. Now that's gonna be hard.
I want to just say it's Tuesday, right? Because if it's Wednesday, then I've gotten my days mixed up.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
That makes it even harder because Monday is a bank holiday in Germany. So I only have one day where I also have to work to figure out what I can do. And
Bake.
upping the brownie game, you're going to have to beat them. Man, why do you know? Yet now
You've set yourself up.
Yeah.
I have. Damn it! I should have just shown you one. But honestly, if anybody wants them, as I said, I'm just gonna eat like a little bit, and then I'm probably gonna give it to my neighbors. That means he's gonna tell on me. So yeah, he's gonna tell on me that I have food that I shouldn't be or eating, I guess. My mom made being thrifty fun. Oh, that is so cool. I mean, thrifting can be a lot of fun, but I think thrifting is only fun when you don't need to. So being able to do that.
Yeah.
You should have started with a cookie or something. Well, honestly, the ones on the last live were kind of the cookie version of brownies. It's like very plain and simple. But I can only go into the city and get them on weekends. So no, I'm gonna have to come up with something. Sweet.
You did it to yourself, Cece.
Yeah. Like, let me know.
What are you eating, Cece? Is that the garlic?
Kimchi.
Oh, kimchi.
That's my kimchi.
Gotcha. I saw this thing on TikTok where like someone put like actual like full garlic cloves and like mixed it in with like a red sauce. It actually looked so good. And so it just reminded me of it because it was the same color.
No, it's just kimchi. I love eating kimchi. If you don't know, I have kimchi eating shirt. Because when I eat way too much kimchi. But kimchi is. I love eating kimchi because it's a very yummy food, but that's very low calorie. It feels good for my digestion. I think the fermented food is really good for your digestive system. You just have to make sure that you're getting kimchi that is not very high in salt, so you don't overload your system with salt. So I usually like to snack on kimchi, and I have ruined so many clothes by kimchi falling on my chest, and then just you don't get these stains out. There's a reason why people who prepare kimchi wear gloves. You do not get the stains out. So I got myself kimchi eating clothes that can be stained and that are okay to be stained.
Nice.
Yeah, my kimchi game is real. I hated thrifting when I was younger because we had to, but now I love it. I get that all the time.
Yeah.
Yes. I tried kimchi one time and I felt like my taste went off. You probably had too hot kimchi. If you're not used to spicy food, then getting hot kimchi can make you feel that way. Now we're getting into the last story for the day.
Oh, look
And
at that. It's all about food. Look.
yeah, it sounds like it is. The title is. Oh my God! Can you like you can smell this, right? Because
Yeah.
when you look at this picture, you can smell food. I really love the last picture for the last one as well. Like this looks like so much joy.
Mm,
The artwork in this book is incredible as well.
mm.
Like I love the artwork.
Ooh, and you know what? The person, like the author for the next one, is the author of this wonderful book, which I have been showing.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I'm excited to see how Hannah writes a short story.
Mm.
Now, there we go. Happy reading. See you in a little bit. And we're back. It's such an interesting experience compared to traditional reading sprints where you stopped reading a couple of minutes before the time is up and you're like, "Ooh, when is it time? When is it time?" So how did y'all feel about this one? Very different, very different.
Yeah, this one took me a little bit longer to get into just because the writing style was in verse. So I didn't realize that that's how the story was told. And then I just remember at the beginning, I was just left with unanswered questions. Like she's talking about not being able to taste food. And then you think like, did something happen to her? For some reason, I originally thought that she might have had like an eating disorder of sorts.
Yep.
My mind went there right at the beginning. And then
Yes.
you kind of get like all the little like tidbits of information, and then right at the end you kind of realize exactly what went down. And yeah, like I enjoyed the story. It was just something I wasn't expecting, so it kind of caught me off guard a little bit. I didn't really write any notes down. I did write that there was a good quote on page 184, but I don't even know what that is now. I really liked, and my tiny four-year-old brother had stared at him and said simply, "It's a boy's toy because it is mine, and I am a boy." And that was like,
I noted the same thing.
Yeah. So
I love that line.
That one really like stuck with me because like that's literally exactly it. Who cares if there's dolls that are pink or this or that? Like, no, it's my toy, so it's what I want to be, basically. So I loved that. That was very powerful to me.
Yeah.
I love that. I wish I had that confidence. It's a boy toy because it's mine and I'm a boy, so yeah. Get over it. Love it.
Yeah.
At that age, we all, most of us have a little bit more confidence at that age. The little brother, then it gets taken away from us through a thing called puberty, I feel like. Kids being told that they are not supposed to speak their mind takes away confidence as well. So that boy is still in that place of like, let's tell it how it is, and you're gonna have to deal with it. What do you think, Mo?
I like the way it was written, especially on the very first page where it's like flick sweet, flick sour, flick salty. I could just imagine it kind of switching, her senses being switched off. I didn't quite, I mean, I kind of got it, but I didn't quite get it until they explained what happened. I thought that there were quite a few bits that I liked. So on page 177, where just the way it was written, I don't know whether it was the food choking you or the lie. I thought that was nice.
And that's pretty much that point. Also, why my head went eating disorder. Not knowing anymore whether it's the food choking you or the lie. Like having to like when somebody asks you how's your food, and you tell them it's good, and that's the lie. So you don't know if it's the food choking you or saying that the food is that you enjoy the food. That's so hard. With like that is, I feel like that is food. Like that is eating disorder to me. Like that feels so eating disorder to me.
My head didn't even go there at all. But it's interesting how you both kind of travel there, and I didn't at all.
I don't know, Steph, what your like history and everything is, but I have been battling with eating disorders for the longest time. So, I mean, your head goes what you know, and I felt like this. I felt like being watched when eating, having the feeling that you need to eat to appear normal, to be like, oh yeah, this is good food, yeah, but you feel sick to your stomach just when it hits your mouth. and you just want to spit it out because you know you can't eat this, but you need to eat this so nobody will notice that you don't eat this, and that you don't, like, I've been struggling with eating so long. So this little bit just felt very, very real to me, and that's why my head went eating disorder right away.
I'm actually getting emotional right now, Cece. Thank you so much for sharing that. But like, I might need a minute because I'm actually getting like super emotional about that. But thank you for sharing that. Wow.
Take your minute. Sorry for pushing that way. But yeah, that's as I said, we relate to things that we know, and this person does not seem to have an eating disorder, but seems to put the food stands for.
Well, the whole story is there's a massive theme with food, isn't there? Even the way she's preparing the dish. So, yeah.
This one is so heavy. This one is so hard.
But it's also quite. I love the bit on page 193 in the first paragraph when she's like, she says this phrase in her language, and she said, "Oh, it means I'm sorry with my whole body, heart, and soul." Like, I love that bit because it just means so much.
Yeah. I love that the dad just knows that, like, she needs the company as well.
Yeah.
He's not a cook, but he brings this positive energy in there and lifts her up. And oh my God, this whole thing, oh my God, this was so sad. This was so hard. And I was so confused in the beginning as well. And I'm usually not the biggest fan of verse, to be honest. And I felt like this was a really weird verse where it had no structure and it had like nothing to like. I was like, how am I supposed to read this? Like, how does that sound in my mind? And I had the hardest time figuring that out until it hit me that it's like our thoughts. It's like our thought process when we're in a bad space. There's no rules. There's no full sentence and moving on, and there's no logic behind it. It just is what comes to your mind, and it's confusing and it's everywhere. And so yeah, it felt very real. And one thing that really hit home as well, that made me almost cry, is on page 186. Mama knew all about agak agak. Knows Alia. Mama knows. Present tense. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And she feels guilty. She feels guilty for this accident. It's like, wow.
Yeah, like it wasn't 100% explained, but it seems like to me, just reading into it, maybe that our main character maybe sent her to get something for her at like a specific.
It wasn't explained.
Yeah, like at a specific store, and then she blames herself. Her mom went there.
Right? Wasn't it the tamarind paste that Ayman was like, oh damn, I forgot the most important thing to give it the last bit of flavor, tamarind paste. And then mom was, don't worry, I'll run back to the store and get some.
Right.
Yeah.
It's on page 190.
Oh, okay. I missed that then.
So yeah, she runs back to the store to get the paste that she forgot to purchase, and on that way, for some reason, she decided to go not to the closest store, but to a different store, and an accident happens.
Yeah.
Destroying us here with the last short story.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a way to end the live show here.
It's written verse, yeah. That was so beautiful. My favorite one thus far in this collection. I love that you love it that much. This one was hard, but I'm a little confused. Is the mom still alive? Based on this one line where she's like present tense, I believe yes. What I got from it is like that she's being put it like she's being pushed into surgery, and the doctor said you're going to see her soon. But I don't know if she got out already or not.
I don't think so, because they do talk about taking some food to
Her, yeah,
the mom.
yeah.
I had to laugh out loud when she was talking about the medical dramas, and like, I'm not supposed to watch those shows. There's blood and violence and kissing, even. It's like blood and violence, but kissing, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the worst. This one was just sad. Yeah, it was. So interesting. My mind instantly went to depression.
Mm.
Yeah. The use of language was great between the tenses and the imagery. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That is very similar to how I felt with depression and food. I'm wondering if the author has experience with that too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought eating disorder in the beginning, then I thought something terrible happened to mom, leaving her almost dead. What I thought at the end was remembering how food always brings people together. Ooh, I didn't think about the last. Yeah. I felt like for our main character, food was not only about bringing things together, but kind of her apology in a way, because the mom would always make this traditional food, and now she was like, I'm responsible because I'm the reason that she can't do it this year, so it's my responsibility to make this. Kind of similar to, like, you know, the donut story where she's like, I need to uphold tradition.
Mm.
But here, like, I need to cook this. I need to get this done so that we can uphold tradition. It's my responsibility because it was my fault that mom can't do it this year. So it was really important for her to make the food and have it done. That's what I read with.
Yeah. She almost like it almost was like stressing her out. Like, okay, I need to make sure that, you know what I mean? Like, so she really, yeah, I agree with that, Cece. That's good.
Personally, the writing style was a bit hard for me to get into, but it was so sad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I struggled with it as well. I struggled with it and loved it at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah. That's my feeling on it too.
I appreciate how many cultures and nationalities are represented in this book. Yes, girl. Yes. Yeah. I feel like I learned so many little details.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm in love with this book.
This was literally the perfect book that we could have picked. Like, I don't think we could have picked a better book as the group book.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, on that note, I mean, we have started thinking about the next Ally-a-Thon. If anybody out there watching has a wish, has an idea of like a topic to pick that you would like to learn more about that feels underrepresented, put it maybe in the comments after the live has ended. And if you know of a short story book that is as good as this on any topic, let us know as well. So we can make a list of amazing short story books that potentially could be a future group book. Because, yeah, please let us know if there's more like this out there on other topics, like more of that quality. I'm going to need to watch or read something a bit more lighthearted after this story. Yes, I agree. I agree. It's so perfect. When do you want to do the next round? We're not entirely sure. We were thinking that we can probably pull off, like from an organizational standpoint, from the work that gets into this, that we can probably do once a quarter, but we're not fixed on that. Since we haven't picked a topic yet, we're also a little bit flexible to see if a topic aligns with a certain time. So we were speaking the other day about how this one aligned almost with Ramadan, and that made it like it makes a lot more sense to have it during that time than to have it at a random time in the year. So if we pick a topic that is tied to August, or that is tied to early September, or tied to late July, that might influence when we're going to do one. But I would say roughly once a quarter. But don't hold us to it, because we want to have the flexibility not to promise a certain date, so we have flexibility in everything around it. Anything else to add from your ends?
No, I think you've covered it pretty well.
Rambling, stuttering, completely unprepared. I was looking at the calendar and saw Diwali and some of the Jewish holidays. I thought those would be interesting. Ooh.
Okay.
I have no idea what Diwali is, and I have very little knowledge about Jewish holidays or anything there.
I'm the other way around. So in the UK, or where I live anyway, there's quite a lot of Hindus, and Hindus celebrate Diwali. And I think Sikh people may also celebrate Diwali, but for a different reason. So I'd love to learn more about that. And I know very little about the Jewish community. So either of those would actually be quite good if those align with that time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. We're open to all the ideas. I think the last time we started talking about it, I said we just collect all the ideas for now, and then we'll throw them at a wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
So yeah. Uli, I don't know what you want to tell us here right now. Uli, speak in sentences. So what am I going to read that gets me out of this very depressing mood? Like, I can feel it on my chest after this story. I don't know if anybody else feels this, but I have this like
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting this one to be as deep as it was.
Right.
Especially with like the picture. I thought it was just going to be all about food.
Right.
And I mean, it was in a way, but there was obviously a lot more to it. So I think that's also like, because we weren't expecting it, and then it kind of just went there.
Yeah.
Pretty much from page 1. I think it hit us.
Look at the picture closely. Look at her face. And you will see the picture very differently when you look at her face in that picture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't look at the face, but now it looks very differently. Like
I saw the face before, and I thought she was just like reveling in in the food. Like, yeah, I'm loving this.
Yeah.
And now I'm seeing it in a completely different light.
But yeah, I mean, this book promises stories of hope and joy. And I'm sorry, but that last did not give me hope and joy. It gave me
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's good, but it's tough.
I think maybe the last part was supposed to be like the hope of like, like them being able to bring the mom the food and stuff, but still that one hit pretty hard.
I mean, for the first time in days, she's not lying about that the food is good. So there's hope.
Yeah.
Cece, have you started reading the other book by the same author?
You mean the one that I just held up? I finished. Yes, I was. Was I talking about this last live or the live before? But yeah, that's the one with the OCD character with the djinn.
Oh yeah. I remember.
Love it.
How does it compare with the writing style? I mean, this one's written completely differently, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so it's completely differently in terms of that it's not in verse, so it's a little bit less confusing. But it's it still has the same aspect of being in somebody's mind and having a confusing mind. Because in this one, the OCD takes over at times. We have cursive. We have just thoughts coming in at times where the OCD Jin tells her stuff, and it's sometimes it's very random. Just things like, I don't know. I shut my eyelids. Stop. I tell myself, stop thinking it. Stop. You don't want this. Stop. But I can't. So there's a lot of more like this.
Okay.
It's a little bit more fluent. A little bit less chaotic, but it's still somehow, yeah, it's just another voice added to it that is very clearly another voice.
Okay.
So yeah, but I loved it. I loved it. Also, not the easiest read, and this is actually, I think, this is a middle grade book that actually comes with an author's note at the very beginning, saying this book is not light and easy read, and in the interest of minimizing harm, I'd like to warn you now that the contents include graphic violence, death, racism, OCD, and anxiety triggers. If this will hurt you, please do not read my book. No book is worth sacrificing your own well-being for.
I love that.
So nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
I mean, there's a little bit longer parts about, saying like, sounds weird that I'm telling you not to read my book, but it is what it is.
I love that.
Yeah. I had a thought, but can't beat Jocelyn. Yeah, Jocelyn, you might be right that this might take me out of my bad feeling to just go and watch Spike again. People know I'm crashing. It is what it is, and I completely stand by it. So, yeah, Rudy, give us your thoughts. Does someone know the 3 laws of robotics? Yeah, you mean the Asimov?
Yeah.
They can't hurt.
They can't hurt themselves.
They can't hurt.
Yeah. And they have to listen to everything, unless it breaks the other 2 rules.
Oh yeah, so don't injure a human. Do not injure yourself. Must protect your own. And
they have to listen to all their commands or something.
I don't think I've ever heard of this.
Have you watched? There's a really good. Oh my god, I've forgotten his name. Robin. Who's the guy that plays Mrs. Doubtfire?
Robin Williams.
Yes, Robin Williams. Really good Robin Williams movie. About I think it's called Andrew or Android or something. I mean, someone in the comments will definitely know what I'm on about. But that is a really cool movie, and I mean, he's a great, amazing. He was an amazing actor.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should check that out.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Bicentennial Man.
Yes, Bicentennial Man.
Yeah, that was amazing. But yeah, the 3 laws are, I think that they're Asimov's laws, right? And Asimov is one of like a classic sci-fi science fiction writer, and he came up with these laws, and these laws are like Tolkien inventing elves. It's like predominant in like all other, like you can find a lot of new sci-fi books referencing this law and build on that law, such as like a lot of white Western fantasy, including elves and orcs, that once somebody came up with.
Was there a point to that question, the Hannah?
Yeah, that's a good question. Was there a point
Did you
to
have
this?
an idea? Because we'd love to hear it.
Exactly. Was that tied to an idea? I feel like there was some hope that there is a chance Mom will be okay, or that at least we have one another.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that, yes. First law, they can't hurt humans. The 200 Years Man, yeah, I think that's a translated title.
Mm.
Written by Asimov, I, Robot, Will, with Will Smith, something like it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I only read the Foundation by Asimov. Asimov, I like the thought process and the ideas, but I wasn't the biggest fan of the writing style. It was still a good book, but I had the hardest time getting through it. 20-something stories about situations the three laws didn't work around. You mean, you're talking about like like a short story collection.
Mm.
That's what I'm reading in this one.
Yeah, maybe that's what he means.
Yeah. It would be interesting if we could find something that has to do with AI or with robotics or something that somehow works for becoming an ally for something. That sounds like a stretch right now, but if we could pull that off, that would be amazing. But yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, we did just ask for short story collections that are good, so on that note, I think we said everything that we wanted to say about the book today.
Yeah.
Getting late over here. It's getting late in Mo time, I think, as well.
It is.
I don't leave you all, but I'm having the best time with you, with this book, with the Ally-a-Thon. But I do have to go and read something. Maybe watch an episode to see Spike to feel better, and then go read something. So yeah, I think that this is it for today. We are going to be back reading this book in just 2 days on Steph's channel for the last show. It's already the last.
Oh, it's sad.
Yeah.
But it's also exciting though. Like, it's a good thing. We're gonna get through an entire book together. We'll have like our final thoughts on the whole book. It'll be like getting closer to the end of Ally-a-Thon, so it's bittersweet for sure.
Cece's gonna have some amazing dessert.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I don't know how. I'm gonna have to call the cavalry sometime. I'm gonna ask my neighbors if they have desserts lying around that I can swap my brownies for, just so I have something else. Yeah, but yeah, it's fun as always. And as I mentioned, I think around a gazillion times now, this is one of my favorite experiences in the bookish community so far. Just this reading together and being able to discuss it right away. It's so much fun, and I appreciate each and every person who is doing this with us and who has joined us today to read with us. If you read this book with us or read your own book, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. And we see you. We see every single one of you. So, yeah. Shut up. Oh, damn it. I just wanted to read tomorrow. Now my mind is going to be occupied for the whole freaking day to think about what I can make. And just keep in mind, I will not be eating it, right? So you have to know that when I'm baking, when I'm getting desserts, I will not be eating it. It's just for show. So it's going to occupy my mind what I can make that looks brilliant and not even intend on eating it. You don't even know what you're doing here. You're very welcome. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you all again. I hope to see you all again on Tuesday. And if you can't make it on Tuesday, we're going to be back next Sunday with regular reading sprints here on my channel. I do not know who's joining yet because I haven't asked Mo and Steph if they want to join next Sunday. So I don't know who's joining yet. But I will be there doing reading sprints on the last day of Ally-a-Thon. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Nice.
Just saying. All right. See you hopefully soon. Until then, bye.